Hey again, everyone. This is Rob Ryder on August 7th, 2015. I did a video yesterday a little bit on Planned Parenthood and the idea that, hey, they're lobbyists, or they're lobbying, and they're a 501c, and they shouldn't be able to do that. And it was, it was a real shitty video. Forgive me. I didn't do a very good job on it, so I'm doing one again. And what this is so this is their IRS 990 form that you can find online. And Planned Parenthood Federation of America, Inc. Well, that's the legal name of this entity. It's kind of like an umbrella with a whole bunch of other entities around it. Like every state may have their own Planned Parenthood, and I kind of covered that in the video yesterday. You can find that out yourself. But this is the overall umbrella, and it gives the address. So that's the legal address, right? And it gives the name of the principal officer. Good. And it gives their EIN number, so now we can identify them, and we see that they took in about $171 million in 2012. I don't think they paid any tax on it. Well, here they are, tax-exempt status. They say they're a 501c3. So for us, we need to say, well, okay, we've identified what they say they are. Let's go verify that they are. And that's where the fun starts. Because when we look at what it says about these exemptions then, okay, so exemption requirement, 501c3 organizations. To be tax exempt under the IRS Revenue Code, an organization must be organized, operated exclusively for exempt purposes set forth in 501c3, and none of its earnings may inure to any private shareholder or individual. In addition, it may not be an action organization. In other words, it may not attempt to influence legislation, lobby, as a substantive part of its activities. And, this is the big part, it may not participate in any campaign activity for or against political candidates. So whether or not they can lobby Congress is one thing. What they can't do, as we're going to see, is they can't be involved in campaign financing. Organizations described in Section 501c3 are commonly referred to as charitable organizations. The organizations must not be organized or operated for the benefit of private interest. Yada, yada, yada. I don't know, we need to know any more of that. But eventually you get to a part where we'll talk about, incidentally, this is all on the IRS website. Different pages I cut and paste to put on here, but it's all off their website. So 501c3 organizations are restricted in how much political and legislative lobbying, that's the legislative part, activity they may conduct. For detailed discussion, see political and lobbying activities. Well, I did. And when you go to political and lobbying activities, you eventually end up with this. The restrictions of political campaign intervention by Section 501c3 tax-exempt organizations. Under the Internal Revenue Code, all Section 501c3 organizations are absolutely prohibited from directly or indirectly participating in or intervening in any political campaign on behalf of or in opposition to any candidate for elective public office. Well, how prohibited are they? Well, they're absolutely prohibited from directly or indirectly participating. Okay. Contributions to political campaign funds, or, so this is by itself, right? So doing this by itself is one thing, or public statements is another. Clearly violate the prohibition against political campaign activity. What clearly violates the prohibition against political campaign activity? Contributions to political campaign funds. All right, let's go see if they gave anybody any money for campaigning. And we're going to find they are. We're going to be back looking at 2 U.S.C., so it's U.S. Code 441B, contributions or expenditures by national banks, corporations, or labor organizations. And we're interested in corporations because, as we saw, right, that's what they said they were. They're a 501c corporation. And in fact, it says or corporation on here someplace. I just don't want to go find it again. But it does. In fact, I think this one you could word search. Yeah, you sure can. You could even word search on the word corporation. Nevertheless, so there's another thing that a exempt organization needs, right? So this is for a 501c or other ones, but let's just say the 501c3, keep it easy. The IRS will rule on tax consequences of proposed changes to an organization's purposes or activities. Thus, if you are unsure about whether proposed changes are consistent with your status, such as giving money to a campaign and claiming to be a 501c, as an exempt organization or as a public charity, which is what a 501c is, 3C, excuse me, C3? Yeah, C3. You may want to request a private letter ruling or determination letter. You may also obtain a determination letter on whether you are exempt from annual exempt organization returns. Revenue Procedure 2014-4 will tell you how to do it. And that's really what we're looking at. And when you go to this section 3, it tells you about these different kinds of letters that they can give an entity for it to determine for it sure that it's doing what it should do to claim the status that it claims. In general, the service provides guidance in the form of letter rulings, closing agreements, compliance statements, determination letters, opinion letters, advisory letters, information letters, revenue rulings, and oral advice. They've got all sorts of things for you, but only some of them have any legal standing, in my opinion, like a letter ruling. What's that about? It's a written statement issued to a taxpayer by the Service Employee Plans Technician Office or Exempt Organization's Technical Office that interprets and applies the tax laws or any non-tax law applicable to employee benefit plans and exempt organizations to the taxpayer's specific set of facts, right? For facts that apply to the taxpayer. Once issued, a letter ruling may be revoked, modified, for any number of reasons, as explained in Section 13 of the blah, 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 blah. So there's one kind. They can take your particular set of facts, they can apply the laws to it and say, yes, based on what you gave us, you would either comply or not comply with whatever tax-exempt status you're trying to achieve. Or they can get a closing agreement. It is a final agreement between the service and the taxpayer on the specific issue of liability. It is entered into under the authority of some other section, and unless fraud, malfeasance, or misrepresentation, the material fact of the material facts can be shown. A closing agreement prepared by the office under responsibility of the commissioner may be based on a ruling that has been signed by the commissioner. Okay, so there's another one. Determination letter. A determination letter is a written statement issued to a taxpayer by the service determinations office that applies to the principles and precedents previously announced to the specific set of facts. Again, their specific set of facts. It is issued only when the determination can be made based on clearly established rules in the statute, a tax treaty, or the regulation, or based on conclusion of revenue ruling, opinion, blah, 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 blah. So, what I'm saying is, most of these places, I don't believe they have this piece of paper. They put in the application to become a 501c, right? But they never got the determination letter to say they are, and I don't believe they're putting in their paperwork the way they're supposed to. But that doesn't really matter in this case, so I'm just saying this is one other thing to ask for, their determination letter. But it doesn't matter in this case because the 501c is not supposed to campaign finance entities. And according to this, that's what Planned Parenthood does. Campaign finance. Latest FEC data. And I think this is just for 1 year, for 2013 to 14. Total raised, $9 million. Total spent, $10 million. Go figure. On candidates. Opposed and support, right? The exact things it said that they weren't supposed to do. Here they are doing it. That's pretty plain. Contributions or expenditures by national banks, corporations, or labor organizations. It is unlawful for any national bank or any corporation organized by authority of the law of any law of Congress, which Title 26 is, enacted by Congress, created the 501 corporation style, and therefore they're talking about a 501c3. It's unlawful for them to make any contribution or expenditure in connection with any election to any political office. They use any, right? It's all of them. Can't do it. I think they're guilty of it. We got a few more things to look at because I'm going to do something about that. So, okay, I should probably go to the FEC page first. So, anyways, the Federal Election Commission has a page, right? Just Google Federal Election Commission, and eventually you will find where you can go in and see who did campaigning of what kind. And let's see if this doesn't take too long to get back to. I think I just put Planned Parenthood up here in the search and clicked, right? They have these other ways of doing it, and had all these opportunities to look at all these different documents, of which I will just show you a couple because they're interesting. So here's one from 2007 from the Federal Election Commission, saying that on March 6, 2007, the Federal Election Commission accepted and signed Global Conciliation Agreement submitted on behalf of your clients, Planned Parenthood Action Fund, Incorporated, PAC, and Chris Korsmo, in her official capacity as a treasurer, and Planned Parenthood Action Fund in settlement of a violation of, right, these campaign laws. Where is that thing? 441B. Right? In settlement for violations of 434 and 441B. They violated it. There's the evidence. The FEC said they violated it. Well, the FEC is going to give them their little hand slap. Okay, which is okay, but it didn't necessarily get to the IRS. So, don't crash on me here, brother. Here's another one from about the same time. And this is to the Planned Parenthood Action Fund Incorporated, which is directly tied. I think we saw on the, I'd have to pull up their 990 again. But this is the entity that's directly under the Planned Parenthood Federation, in which it said, in the normal course of carrying out supervisory responsibility, the Federal Election Commission became aware of information suggesting that Planned Parenthood Action Fund Incorporated may have violated the Federal Action Campaign Act of 1971. On September 12, 2006, the Commission found reason to believe, well, that would be probable cause, that Planned Parenthood Action Fund Incorporated broke the law to USC 441B, where it said it was unlawful. Well, that means you broke the law. You just violated your 501c3 status. That's how easy it is. I don't know how we're going to get them to do anything with it, but I got the FEC. The FEC is saying they did it. Well, I had done something before. I'd already sent it out before I found these pages. I'm going to show you what I sent, because I have a way to do something about this. But now, having seen this, I should have gone to the FEC site first to get these documents to say, look, you've already found them guilty. They violated they've already been found guilty, not by the IRS, by the Federal Election Commission. The right hand doesn't tell the left hand what it's doing. The federal election campaign, as amended, broadly prohibits corporations from making contributions in connection with 441B. The available information indicates 2004 Planned Parenthood Fund, domestic nonprofit corporation registered in the state of New York, transferred a bunch of money to separate segregated fund, Planned Parenthood Action Fund, Inc., PAC, a political committee within the meaning of 2 U.S.C. 341, C11 CFR. Man, you can go read all the law you want to on this to basically come away with the idea, hey, they broke the law. We should do something about that. Well, what I tried to do was go back to this one real quick. Okay, we can get rid of that one. And I can get rid of that one. I already talked about that. And the determination letter. Well, okay. Give me just 1 second here. All right. If you were to go to Google and put in IRS complaint, you would find how do you report suspected tax fraud activity. And, we just do what the IRS tells us to do. Now, it gives you these different forms, right? How do you report suspected tax fraud activity? What's the suspected tax fraud activity? Well, Planned Parenthood lost its 501c3 tax-exempt status the second it gave a contribution for campaign financing. Ipso facto, right? It goes back to the first incident. Doesn't matter that they don't have any piece of paper, we've never been charged for it. It's when it happened. And as you can see, if you suspect misconduct or wrongdoing in an exempt organization or employee plan, you should use this Form 13909. I have some other ones that may be of interest, but they're not for today, so at least not to me. But you can find them easy enough. Just how do you report suspected tax fraud activity and go look at all the different forms and see all the different ways. You might be able to use something against them instead of them using it against us. But in all that, I did one, and it looks like this. It's a really easy form. This is how simple the form. This is the form, by the way. Form 13909. Before we read it, right? It's 1 page long, and then it has, right? It's got some instructions. Well, cool. So, name of the referred organization. Well, that would be Planned Parenthood Federation of America. And that's their address. And that's today's date. And in my opinion, these are the things that the nature of the violation. Right? The EIN number. And again, all this came off of this form right here. Right? There's the name. There's the EIN number, there's the address, there's the principal. It's all I'm just using their information, right? This is how the system is set up. They've already self-incriminated. It's not that we can't find what they've done wrong. It's who do you give it to? I've never tried this particular thing, so I can't say it isn't going to work. That's why I'm doing it. Okay, so I believe that the, well, let's see. Directors, officers, persons are using income assets for personal gain. Well, jeepers, what was, I guess I could have checked that one too. It probably ended up I could have checked them all, right? They're selling baby parts, for God's sakes. Them are some really demon-possessed people, and they need an exorcism. They need to be quietly gathered together, shuffled off to their own little place, and just taken out of everybody's life because they're demon possessed. Organization is engaged in commercial for-profit business. Yeah, I think that's why they're doing it. Of course, not paying any tax on it, so it's tax evasion for-profit business. I guess you could call that antitrust for-profit business. Organization is involved in a political campaign. Well, cha-ching, yes they are. I do not believe the organization has a determination letter from the IRS for its specific set of facts acknowledging its tax-exempt status. Show me the paper. Details of violation. Well, Cecil Richards and unknown others. She's the president of the Planned Parenthood Federation of America and the Planned Parenthood Action Fund, which they're not supposed to be part of any action stuff. But there she is, right? I mean, this is right off of their website, that information was. So according to its Form 990, Schedule R, Planned Parenthood Federation of America Incorporated directly controls Planned Parenthood Action Fund Incorporated, address, with its own EIN number, a political campaign contributor. Right? Because that's what this fund does. It does the contributing for the Federation. Submitter, well, that would be me. And occupation or business, well, my business is my all capital letter name with my social security number. It's my property. I am its owner. And if you have a claim, show it to me or give me back my damn property. That's how I think you handle that thing about the all capital letter name. It is my property. Damn skippy it is. So unless you have a claim and can prove it, then give me back my property. What do I mean by that? I mean my estate. See, your Social Security account right now is in your name with a middle initial instead of a full middle name. At least mine is. They've done different to everybody. And that property with the Social Security number is your estate, and you have all these other, anything you've ever touched has something to do with that all capital letter name and that Social Security number. And your driver's license number, because that put your property in the state. If you look at your driver's license, if you're from Michigan, it's in your all capital letter name. That's your property. It's been registered in the state. What hasn't been registered in the state is us and our proper person for the natural person, which is what I think we do through probate as the administrative arm of the state government. And there's one of those in every county instead of a county, which is a corporate body politic, which is it's its own corporation, right? That's the one they want you to be in, and they don't want you to go to the state and register that you're a citizen of the state, pre-Civil War citizen, whatever you want to call yourself, national of the United States. So blah blah blah, right? That's neither here nor there with this, but it's one of the other things that I'm working on. Okay, so anyways, you submit your information in, and because it said I could email it, well, that's what I did. It didn't ask me to sign it, didn't ask me to swear to anything. It's what do they call it? Tax-exempt organization complaint form. Parentheses referral, whatever they meant by that. So I said I could have added other things to it, and now that I know what I know, for documentation, I would have put these other where they've already been busted by. Where is that one? Right, the Federal Election Commission's already said they're already guilty. Now, so I don't forget, this was way down on the bottom, like page 80. So here's where it was identifying this. What do they call this? This is Schedule R, Form 990. Planned Parenthood Action Fund Incorporated. And it says its direct controlling entity is the PPFA, which is the Planned Parenthood Federation of America. So there you have it, right? Complaint's been put in. I sent that to the. Yeah, I already sent that to the IRS, but it was late this afternoon. But I think that's the thing to do with any of these entities, and the sooner the better. So stay tuned for more. We'll see ya.